Oi, how's it going? It's me, Waddles. Late last year and into early this year, Minecraft received a handful of experimental snapshots. These experimental snapshots aim to redo combat. For most of 2020 though, there has been complete silence on the combat update front until today. Oh yes, that's right. Today, on August 7th, 2020, experimental combat snapshot V6 dropped. In this video, we're gonna check out the brand new combat update snapshot. We'll do this video just like our standard snapshot breakdowns. If you enjoyed, show that like button some love and the subscribe button even more love. Remember the bell too, it's often neglected. Don't neglect it. So, because it's been so long, let's kick things off with a little bit of a catch-up. Minecraft is receiving another combat revamp. Eventually, if everything goes right, the combat on Java Edition and on Bedrock Edition should be pretty similar. Right now, it is basically completely different. Bedrock spam, Java slow. This combat update, because of the nature of it, redoing combat and all, is probably going to be a pretty substantial change to Minecraft. So far, the combat update changes are pretty noticeable too. I mean, we even have a brand new enchantment, now known as cleaving. It's actually some pretty cool, exciting stuff. I'll put a card on screen to another combat snapshot, and then I'll put a video on the end card as well. You should check it out after this one. So just like with any other normal Minecraft snapshot, we have a list of changes to go through, but this time, all of the changes, or at least like 95% of them, are combat related. Since we mentioned it just a second ago and you're probably wondering about it, that brand new axe enchantment. Previously, this enchantment was known as chopping. As of this combat snapshot, it is now known as cleaving. So a simple name change right there. Now aside from the name change, nothing much has actually changed about this enchantment. If you're unfamiliar with the enchantment, this is a 3-tiered enchantment. This enchantment is an axe enchantment that is incompatible with sharpness, bane of arthropods, and smite. That stat right there probably gives you a big hint about this enchantment. For each level, chopping adds half a heart of damage and half a second of shield stun time. This axe has chopping 3, we can go ahead and swing at these things, and yeah, the axe, it's pretty strong. Like we talked about in the earlier combat snapshots, with these snapshots, axes are getting a whole lot better for combat in general. For example, they won't be losing extra durability when you use them for combat anymore. Our next axe change is actually a little bit more of a sword change. As of this snapshot, swords now always have sweeping attacks again. Meanwhile, axes, if you want to have sweeping, you're going to need to get the sweeping 3 enchantment on the thing. If we stand still and swing the sword, you'll see that little swipe at the bottom of the screen. That means sweeping. Right here, this axe, it's got sweeping as well, so you're going to see that little animation. Meanwhile, this diamond axe over here, plain unenchanted, no little swipe at the bottom because no sweeping. Finally, on the axe side of things, we have a change to how enchantments are going to work with these things. According to the snapshot's changelog, other weapon enchantments have been removed from the axe enchanting table. I'm assuming this means sharpness, bane of arthropods, and smite. But I'd like to run a quick little test to see if we get any of those enchantments from the enchanting table. If we end up getting those enchantments, then I'm interpreting it wrong. Okay, efficiency, unbreaking 3, perfect. Cleaving, okay, alright, it looks like I have some enchanting to do. I'll be right back. Alright, exactly what I thought. After doing all of this enchantment right here, 0 instances of sharpness, smite, or bane of arthropods. So yep, that is definitely the change. Now, one big question though, if we switch into survival here, we place an anvil down, can we still put sharpness on an... Oh, no we can't. Okay, so it looks like these enchantments are donezo with the axe entirely as of this snapshot. It's a little bit of a bummer, but definitely not the end of the world thanks to the cleaving enchantment. So those are the axe changes. Now for this next bit, let's zoom out and talk about some general changes. This next one has to do with small entities. We're talking things like rabbits and bats. Entities with bounding boxes that are smaller than 0.9 of a block, like this guy right here, are now inflated to be 0.9 of a block. This is for targeting purposes. If you're fighting something and you miss, you'll now only have a 4-tick delay until you can attack again. Basically, less punishment for missing. Another change in Combat Snapshot V6 has to do with Coyote Time. Coyote Time was a mechanic added in Combat Snapshot V5. I'll go ahead and pop a description up on screen right now. You can read it if you want, but you don't have to because it's been removed. Another cool mechanic that these combat snapshots are implementing is something called reach. Different weapons have different reaches. For example, if we want to hit something with an axe, we're going to need to be a little bit closer than we would need to be if we were hitting something with a trident. We could be all the way back here. This is crazy. Now the sword, yep, we're too far, but the trident, boom. not too far at all. Now the reach mechanic, that's not new to this combat snapshot. In this combat snapshot, the base reach has been increased to 3. Previously, it was 2.5 blocks. Alongside the implementation of an increased base reach for attacks, the bonus reach has been removed for delayed attacks. Speaking of delayed attacks, remember, you can hold down to fight again in these snapshots. That's pretty crazy. This next change has to do with the removal of something. That attack indicator, you remember the thing that would show up underneath your crosshairs or by your hotbar, depending on where you set it to? Yeah, it's been removed entirely because it's not used in any systems anymore. No more attack indicator at all. I could definitely see this next one getting very annoying, but it probably makes sense. If you're eating and you're hit by something, eating is now interrupted. So check this out. Yep, the husk is stopping us from eating entirely. Kind of a problem. Yep, definitely makes sense, but makes things a little bit more challenging. I like it though. Oh wait, back up. I need to eat. Thank you. Okay, yep. Now you can go away. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Yep. Goodbye. So if you're trying to eat, first you're going to probably want to either get some distance on your enemies, or just take them out. And finally, for our random changes, the sweeping edge enchantment actually has been nerfed in this snapshot down to 25, 33, 37.5 from 50, 66, 75. These percentages have to do with how much damage the sweeping attacks do. This is a gigantic nerf when it comes to sweeping edge. Honestly, I kind of don't understand why it needed such a big nerf. I don't know, I kind of liked it how it was. Food, it's a pretty big part of the game. This combat snapshot has changed quite a few things when it comes to food. Like we've already mentioned, if you're hit while you're eating, that eating is going to be canceled. You need to take no damage at all if you want to actually eat. That's not the only food change though. The eating time has been reverted to 32 ticks in this snapshot. I want to say that that's the normal speed. That feels pretty normal, you know, when I eat the steak. Natural healing though, oh boy, you low health players are gonna like this one. Natural healing has been sped up a little bit to 2 seconds. Previously, it was 3 seconds. Natural healing also drains food 50% slower. So that means if you're trying to heal up, you're gonna need less food and you're gonna heal up faster. That's pretty big. I really like the sounds of that. It was always a headache how much food you needed to eat if you were really low on health, especially early on. It felt like you were being punished for no reason. Hopefully these new changes fit well into Minecraft and can stay. And as of this combat snapshot, if you want to sprint, you're going to need to have at least 6 points of food again. For those of you who use shields, this combat snapshot brings 2 changes for you. Shields will now only protect up to 5 damage from melee attacks. So let's go ahead and check this one out. We have a Hoglin right there. Shield. Boom. Not so fast, Hoglin. Exactly. That's what I thought. Yep. Okay. And a Zoglin now. Yep. That's fine. This shield is going to do good. It's doing well. The shield is erasing all of that damage from the Hoglin and then the Zoglin because their attacks, at least the ones that we received, were all less than 5 damage. Shields will protect 100% of projectile damage still. As of this snapshot, shields will also recover a little bit faster after an attack. Bows. Last but not least, ranged combat. There have been some pretty big changes to ranged combat in this snapshot. I feel that if anything's going to cause controversy in this snapshot, it's these changes. So first off, player momentum is now added to thrown projectiles, but only in the direction that you are aiming. So I'm thinking that if we're moving this way and we kind of like jump that way, a little bit of momentum is added to that projectile. If I'm understanding everything correctly, moving towards whatever you're trying to attack is going to increase that projectile's momentum a little bit, but moving backwards, it won't do anything. It won't slow it down. So you might be thinking, Waddles, come on, man, that's it? That's not too bad. Why would that cause any controversy? Well, yeah, I don't think that one would. I think this next one would. The final change. This is a big one. I want to hear what you guys think about this one down in the comments below. So, you know how you can charge your bow up like that? Well, take a look at the bow. You see how much it's shaking? It's shaking because it's growing more inaccurate. So, if we go ahead and shoot at this witch, I'm sure we're going to hit it because we're pretty close. Just as I suspected. But the longer we hold this, the less accurate the shot is actually going to get. Now, it seems that we're still pretty close, so we're still going to have some pretty good odds of hitting this witch, but let's see. Yeah, we're still hitting the witch. All right, we're all the way over here. Let's try this out. First, we'll charge this up and shoot. We should hit the witch. Okay, the witch despawned. All right, let's try this out with a little bit more distance. Let's say we're all the way over here. If we charge this up, we should hit the witch pretty easily. Boom, nice. Now, if we charge this and hold it, give it a second. Are we still gonna hit the witch? Probably, because we're pretty close, but that arrow went way over there instead of right where I was aiming. That's interesting. This is a tricky one. If we're talking about things making sense, then this change probably makes sense. I mean, if this were real life and you were holding an arrow back and a bow for a long time, your arm would get tired and it would become a little bit less accurate. But is this punishment necessary? I don't know. This is a video game. It doesn't need, I don't know. I can't decide. I mean, I kind of like it. It definitely makes bows require a little bit more speed and a little bit more skill. But at the same time, players who are just bad with bows, yeah, they're probably going to have another reason to just not like them at all. And this isn't only going to apply to bows. Take a look at this trident. It's going to start wiggling. You can kind of see it. It's less noticeable with the trident, which is why I was showing it off with the bow. But yeah, the longer we hold this thing back, the more inaccurate it's going to become. Here's my take on this one. About 90% of me likes this change. It makes ranged weapons require a little bit more speed, a little bit more skill. But 10% of me still wonders why exactly. Why is the punishment there, and really why is it necessary other than for the sake of being realistic? What do you think though? And what do you think about Combat Snapshot V6 as a whole? Because elites, that's it for this Combat Snapshot. This snapshot is pretty big. There have been quite a few changes in it. As of the recording of this video, there is no set release date for these changes. These changes will probably end up being polished a little bit more before their final implementation. I'll go ahead and leave a link to the Reddit post down in the description below. If you want to check out this snapshot, there's some special installation instructions there on that post. If you enjoyed the snapshot breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this one. Today, big shout out to my patrons, Skelly Wampus, Robbie McFly, and Bad Andy 925. Thank you all so much for the support, and until next time, stay fresh. It's been me, Waddles. Goodbye, everyone.